Hi everyone! Are you looking for a love relationship? Is not finding a special person for a romantic relationship is bothering you? Do you feel rejected? Do you know that there might be family hidden dynamics preventing you from being happy in a love life or having the relationship that you desire? In this video, I will talk about this rejection feeling that could be blocking you from having the romantic relationship you wanted. I will also use a family constellation session to illustrate how this could be coming from a family dynamic that is showing an unhealthy pattern that could be blocking you to get what you want, to achieve what you want in your love relationships. But before we talk about that, I would like to invite you to subscribe to this channel, turn on the notifications, like and share this video with your friends and someone who is looking for a love relationship. My name is Daniela Storch and I'm a Family Constellations facilitator. Let's start. So I'm talking about this topic because I constantly see people having issues with their love life, and when they are trying to find someone special, or even when they are facing any challenges in their actual relationships, especially when there is a rejection feeling that you do not know where this feeling is coming from. Usually this feeling is coming from an unconsciously pattern or family dynamic, or even something that happened to you that it is not in your conscious and you are not aware of this right now. So in this video I will talk about something that could be blocking you in your life from the systemic point of view, and a situation that happened in a family constellation session. So we usually have issues in our lives, but these issues are showing up as symptoms in our lives, but we do not know the source of these issues. And this content will help you to awaken your consciousness for a better love relationships in your life, or any kind of relationship in your life as well. So relationships, we learned from our family how to have relationships. Your parents' relationship is the model for you to seek relationships in your life. So your father is the male model that you have in your life, as well as your mother is the female model that you have in your life as well. It is like the same way that we learn how to speak or we learn any language, right? We listen and we start to repeating the language when we start talking, or when we are a child that we are learning how to speak. We listen to our parents, we pay attention to it, and then we start to repeat them, like with the same accent, with the same type of language, or even with we repeat the same sentences. Sometimes when we are a teenager, that we hear something from our parents that we don't like, or something that we disagree, but when we become parents, we see ourselves repeating them, the same sentences, the same phrases that they used to tell us, we repeat to our children. So this is the same way for the relationships. The way that we saw our parents' relationship is the way that we learn how relationship works. So if you have an absent father, you might seek a partner who is also absent, and vice versa with your mother, for example. If there is a betrayal dynamic between your parents' relationship, most likely that you will also see this kind of dynamic happening in your relationships as well. In the family constellation session I mentioned before, The main complaint of this client was because he was annoyed for not finding a relationship he wanted, the relationship he desired with a special person. And when we started building his constellation, he felt difficult to look at the figure that was representing his relationship issue. And he also complained about feeling rejected. So he also mentioned him being the son of the second marriage of his father. So his father had the first marriage, and he had 3 kids in this first marriage, and he was from the second marriage. And he was not the only child. He also had a brother and a sister, but his father also had many other relationships outside of those 2 marriages. And those many other relationships, his father also had many brothers and sisters. Some of them he knew about, some of them he met, but he also knows that some of them, they were not assumed by his father. The interesting fact in this family constellation session was the fact that he was also feeling rejected by his mother. So when we put the representation, the figure to represent his mother, he was complaining about feeling rejected, feeling disrespected from her sister and her brother. And when we finally include his grandfather in the session, the constellation session, the grandfather, the father of his mother, he right away mentioned that his grandfather had similar or the same behavior as his father, meaning that his grandfather also had many relationships with many women and many children spread throughout the world. And look at this. His mother found and got married with someone, his father, who had the same behavior as his grandfather. Remember when I told you that we usually seek relationships that we learned from our parents? So his mother found a relationship that mimic her father, my client's grandfather. So when we have our parents' model as a relationship, is what we look for unconsciously, what we look for in our actual relationships. And this was happening with her mother. So when I got his attention to this, he's also mentioned that his sister and his brother also have the same type of behavior. So this is a pattern in his family. This is an unhealthy pattern in his family. And why he was not having the same behavior, why he was not having a lot of relationships and many children around the world? Because he was feeling rejected. And this rejection was coming from somewhere. We discovered in his family, when you are feeling rejection, it is because someone, like this person who is feeling rejected, is also connected with someone excluded in the system. So I have many other videos that I also mention about exclusions in a family system, and I have a video that I will put here in this channel for your easy reference, where I explain what is an exclusion and how this can affect family system, and usually someone from a young generation who might be connected with the excluded ones. In his case, it was not only one person who was excluded, it was a lot of people, and not only from her parents, his parents' generations, but from his grandparents or even further in a previous generation. So what we saw, all the children and the relationships his grandfather and his father had, and all the brothers and sisters he has, as well as those rejected women, were excluded from his family system, and he is in synchronism with those people. And this is why he was complaining during the session. He was all the time complaining of this feeling. And when there is a synchronism with someone excluded from the system, this person is feeling the same way of the excluded one, the same symptoms, and they might have the same fate as well. So the solution for this case, well, because it was a lot of people, the solution in this case was to include one figure to represent all his brothers, all his sisters, all those women from his grandfather relationships, and all those women from his father relationships as well. So when we included those ones in his constellation, he felt like right away much relieved, and he was trying to understand how that situation could be impacting his life and how to include them. It's not like you are going to start contacting all of them and trying to make a real connection with all of them, because some of them you might not know. You, in this case, he doesn't know some of them, some of their names, or where to find them. It's not this case. He needs to see that all of them belong to the family system. And we use, in the family constellation session, we use some phrases, some sentence that we called the solution phrases, that could be start healing his feelings. And he saw all of them, and he included all of them as part of his family. And how to do that? Including them in his own heart, knowing them, knowing that they exist, they are part, they are his brother and sisters. Doing that, he can have more consciousness about it, and he can start the healing process inside him. When including all of them, you give a place to these excluded people. And when you are doing that, this rejection that he was feeling was much better, much lighter, and he felt much relieved with these feelings. This was a beautiful movement that we did in his family constellation session, that brought him a feeling that he never felt before, giving him a place that he could belong to. So this is what was blocking him from having a relationship, because he was connected with this dynamic, this unhealthy pattern, and he couldn't feel his own place. If he doesn't feel his own place, how he could have a relationship, a love relationship, with all those relationships in his family? So this was a very interesting and beautiful family constellation session. I hope this gives you more clarity about this topic. If you want to know more about it, write a comment in this video and I will be more than happy to chat with you about that. Thank you for watching me, and see you in the next video. Bye!